So we're back on Fanside. Myself, Cam K, Grain Bun is here. We're just getting ready for an episode with Jason Hathaway is our guest today. But one thing that you might not know about me is that I'm currently in a one-bedroom condo, and I'm looking to upgrade potentially to a two-bedroom condo. A house would be great, but I'm not made of money. So Graydon, I'm just curious if you know anybody that would be able to help me with that.
Have you tried Remax Jack?
Who?
Remax Jack.
You know what? I actually have not heard of Remax Jack. So you know what I'm gonna do, Graydon, is I'm gonna look him up. Let's just see here. Oh, look, there's our interview with Jason that we were planning. Look, there's Twitter. Well, let's see. You said, what's his name again?
It's Remax Jack.
Remax Jack. Oh, well, there he is right there. That's pretty easy. Okay. So I guess I need to look for something that's specific. How about this one? It says houses and condos. Oh, look, it's Remax Jack. That was his name? Remax Jack?
It's
Look,
Remax Jack.
Right, what a beautician right there. Let's see. So, oh, look, he's got buying. He's got selling, mortgages. Well, I got one of those. And he got an MLS search so I could look for a condo straight on his website. This guy looks like somebody I could trust. He looks like he's a negotiator, a really good one at that. It's definitely a hard market to get into, but he seems like a face I can trust. What do you think there, Graydon?
It looks like with all the headings on his website there, he looks like he's a pretty full service guy. He's right in your area. Might be worth looking into. Oh, that's
great. He must be. So if he's my area, that means that's all of the GTA. And it says houses and condos. So I'm not a smart guy, Graydon, but I would assume that means he sells and buys houses and condos. What do you think?
It sure seems that way.
Well, and it says find your dream home. So you know what? I'm going to use Remax Jack. You know why, Graydon?
Why?
Well, not just because you said it and you're a pretty face. I'm going to use Remax Jack. Well, because he's a sponsor for Fanside. Remax Jack sponsoring Fanside. That's right. Our beautiful faces have been sponsored by Remax Jack. What was his name again, Graydon?
It's Remax Jack.
Who?
Remax Jack.
That's right. It's Remax Jack. So start to pack, call Remax Jack. He's an excellent negotiator. He's somebody that I'm actually using at the current time to try and upgrade.
Nice.
I mean, testimonial right here. You don't even need to look at the website. Well, please do. But right here, okay? I love the guy. He's fantastic. He treats me like family. He's a negotiator. He does an amazing job making sure that he first off knows what exactly I'm looking for. So he'll do the same thing for you. Okay. So definitely, guys, keep your eyes peeled. Go to that website that you saw. I mean, we had it on here. We'll have it in the description. So we want to thank you, Remax Jack Turner, for being a part of the Fanside family and sponsoring this episode and some more episodes of Fanside. But this episode with Jason Hathaway coming up right now.
Grab a cold one, heat up those wings, and get ready to fire up your engines. It's Fanside on RaceCanada.world. With your hosts, Cam K and Graydon Bunn.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fanside on RaceCanada.world. And It is finally time to say, Graydon, the champ is here. Jason Hathaway, Kubota represented here on the show. 2020 champ Jason Hathaway is on the show. Welcome, Jason. Welcome to Fanside.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. We finally hooked up.
It's an absolute thrill. Getting to see you pretty well dominate 2020 was excellent, but it was a little bit different. You had only 3 weekends, 6 races. What was the preparation like this time around? Was it a little bit more rushed because you had such a limited amount of time?
No, not really. Not really. They did a good job spreading the races out. It's actually probably in obviously in a regular schedule, regular season. Post pandemic, it's a lot more hectic by the time you get into July and August with our series, all the traveling and all the back and forth across Canada. So it was spread out pretty good. It was a good little schedule, 3 events, 6 races, whatever you want to call it. But I think it fit for all the teams and for everyone involved to try to put on a show. And I think we did a good job as far as NASCAR goes and all the race teams and everyone involved. So it's glad we could put on a live event. There wasn't too many sports back in August, September that were live. So we had our chance to shine in Canada, and I think we did.
Yeah, as you said, NASCAR, both here and in the States, kind of had a golden opportunity, if you want to call it that, being kind of center stage, or not necessarily the whole time, but a relatively smaller amount of competition than usual as far as other sports and everything. And the fact that we were able to get some kind of a season was kind of nice to see. And the fact I'm kind of ripping off some of my boys' material here, but that you guys were able to bring 4 cars to these races. Can you talk a bit about that for our crowd?
Yeah, that was bringing 4 teams. Definitely wasn't in the plans early on in the season. It wasn't our plans at all. So we were definitely going to do 2 cars full time and run Connor James in 4 events, 3 events actually, probably maybe 4 by the time we were done. And then Dexter Stacey come on board with us last minute and wanted to run, and which was great for the series, to get him back from the, spent a bunch of years down south running Xfinity. So it was good to get him back racing with us in Canada. But it was it was a lot of work. Number one. Number two, I kind of sprung it on my guys. It wasn't like we planned any of it. I said, hey guys, we got 3 teams. Let's kind of plan a little bit here. And the next thing I know, I showed up at the shop the next night or next week and said, hey, oh yeah, by the way, now we got 4. So the best part of my crew is nobody asks any questions. It's just how they just get down and figure out how to get it done. And next thing you know, we're at the racetrack.
So logistically, then, like, it was all the EHR guys that put their hands on all 4 cars. Like, did any of the other drivers bring anything to you, or it was pretty much just all you guys?
Yeah, essentially it's EHR team preparing cars throughout the week, and then
Nice.
the kind of the road crew, I guess you call it, the crews for each team would show up at the racetrack. So which was good because it kept it in house, with our guys, and we have 6-7 guys that we have 2 full-time guys throughout the year, all year round. And then we have probably 7 guys for sure that come during the week. So we do shop night every Tuesday night. We were there last night. So
Nice.
it's we don't take any time off. We didn't the Tuesday following the championship we worked again. So it's just what we do, and it's I don't tell the wives, but it's just a guarantee Tuesday night the boys getting together at the shop.
Nice.
You were able to have a very successful season this year. Now, it was something a little bit different. Obviously, the Fan Cave Challenge was only on oval tracks. So that kind of seemed to be like your wheelhouse, is no pun intended. But let's go back, actually. When I first started watching NASCAR back in 2003, it took a couple years, and then all of a sudden, Jason Hathaway showed up driving the number 3. You had started, I believe, in the number 76. Let's talk about kind of your start in the NASCAR Super Series and on to the NASCAR Canadian Tire / Pinty Series.
Yeah, for sure. So I dabbled a few races. Actually, I ran. They used to call it the CarQuest Sportsman Series that I ran in, which was a cast car. Essentially, it was a cast car with a smaller engine and carburetor. So car wise, they were relatively the same. But so I dabbled a little bit. I that's what I raced. Actually, I think it was a 6-race series, Delaware, and a couple in Montreal, Saint Eustache, and wherever else. But I ran that, and then we also, they also allowed you to put a bigger carburetor on your sportsman car to run with the NASCAR Super Series, which I did that a few times in ran Delaware and Cayuga back then. So I had a couple races in that, and then was hired on by EHR in 2006 to drive the 3-car for Ed Hackinson Racing. It was CASCAR then, and won Rookie of the Year. And then that's when NASCAR purchased it in 2007. It changed to NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, and then it changed to the Pinty Series after that. So, geez, I've been around a long time. So, yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. It's not easy. I was looking at I got a framed picture of my wall. I'll send it out maybe on Twitter next time in the office. But it's got the first race I won in 2008 at Kawartha, and I think it's got 28 cars, and the names. It used to have the names, the finishing position, and how much money you won. So, which is kind of cool. And the names that are in that which was NASCAR then. A lot of great racers.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
It was stacked. Anyway, so I was able to win that. That was my first race, able to win that. And I think Kennington was second, and Ronnie Beauchamp was third out of Windsor. So that was pretty cool. So a couple of guys that I kind of grew up with. So I grew up watching too. So yeah, that's the history lesson for tonight.
Well, you kind of touched on it there, and DJ talked about it when we had him on, like being part of like a Saturday night short track event at Delaware, like the amount of people that are like other talent that you're around, it's got to help make you better. Like when you're kind of cutting your teeth in it and coming into it, the amount of guys that you're learning from and not even necessarily knowing it at the time must be pretty cool, eh?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Delaware Speedway was number one back in the day. So I mean, if you can win at Delaware, even if you can run up front in Delaware, if you can make the tech shed at Delaware, and if you're lucky enough to see Brian Thomas or Louis there, you were doing something. So and that goes for every class, not even CASCAR. It goes back down in the street stock series, the open modifieds they had there. They had a truck series back then too. So nice. I used to say if you can win at Delaware, you can win at any racetrack around. And I'll never forget Mike McCall told me that one time, and I said, I think I want to go tour around in my street stock back in the day. Thunder car, they called them at some of the tracks. And he said it's probably the best thing you'll ever do if you can do that, the experience you'll gain. And he's right. So we took our old Thunder car out and ran all around Barrie and Sauble Beach and Cayuga. And geez, I don't know, we were all over the place. Peterborough at Autumn Colors, we won that one too. So, but it was great for number one, for confidence and competition, and some of the names back at Delaware. Steve Robley's number one. I mean, he's going in the Hall of Fame. And I mean, I was shocked he wasn't in the Hall of Fame. He should have been in the Hall of Fame 10 years ago. He's the best.
Yeah,
he's the best, stock car, cast car driver that's ever lived. I don't care. I'll argue with anybody, and I'll argue all night about it too. So, Steve Robley. When you say Steve Robley, you think of cast car, and he's the damn best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, it's funny that we talked about kind of starting off and your first win. I believe it was 2008, possibly Kawartha.
Yeah.
Rain shortened, if I'm not mistaken. Z-Line Designs 250, and so it was one of those. It wasn't one in race distances. you finally were able to do that. And then it seemed like it took forever to get that first one. And then once you did, they just started coming left, right, and center. Was there a turning point? Was it that first win for you guys? Was there something that happened with the car that you felt it helped improve, or was it just your confidence as a driver?
Probably confidence in some aspect. I mean, you definitely back then with the competition, you really had to gain the respect from the guys you're racing with, and it wasn't easy. A lot of guys are doing it full time. There's probably, if I look back in those results, there's probably 5, 6, 7 guys that were doing this full time and making a living at it. So I mean, that's unheard of almost today. So that's respect is one. And I had a real good crew chief back then, Giulio Montanari, and he worked his guts out. And it took us, that was my second year with him in the final race, and it just took us, that amount of time to get the cars, get the week in and week out and have the cars the way we wanted them. So there's a lot that goes into this deal, at the shop, and then even preparation, at the racetrack, and small adjustments at the track and practice. And then you get into usually racing at night, usually practice in the afternoon. It's hotter than heck. And then next thing you know, you're racing at 8:30 at night. So it's not an easy series. I mean, I would task anybody, if they want to try their talent and they think they're good in whatever they're racing, then sure, come and run a NASCAR Pinty series, and there's teams that'll give you good equipment if you want to give it your best shot. So I would recommend that to anybody that thinks they're a great talent.
So
man, for sure.
You'd welcome another Canada Day shootout and get some of those guys from down south up here, right?
Exactly.
That's what we want to hear.
No problem.
And we've seen it, we've seen Christopher Bell, we've seen Noah Gregson, we've seen Kaz Gralla, Austin, and Ty Dillon. None of them have been able to beat a Pinty Series regular. So clearly you guys got some real chops behind the wheel. One of the things that was really cool was that you were able to get into a truck race a couple of years ago for, I believe it was for maybe Bolin Motorsports.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how cool that must have been for you.
Yeah, so that was kind of a last minute deal, and we kind of decided that we should run the truck race, and it's like, okay, no, we got to find the truck. So Brad Moran, who runs the truck series now, ran the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series for multiple years. I just called him right away and said, hey, we want to run a truck. Who can we hook up with? We got this much money and this much sponsorship, and he hooked me up with Jeff Bowen. So, and they were a rental team. Actually, the truck I raced at CTMP was Kenny Schrader's dirt truck at Eldora 2 weeks before that.
No way.
Yeah,
that's pretty rad.
It was a dirt truck that turned into it was an oval truck turned into a dirt truck, turned into a road course truck within like 3 weeks. So,
wow.
And it was. It was obviously down in power and so on and whatever else, but it was fun. It was good equipment. It lasted the race. I remember the engine blew up as I took the checker flag in the front straightaway. It's a wild picture. I'm glad it lived to see the checker flag, and I think we ended up, I don't know where we ended up,
15th or something.
Yeah, it was like top 15.
Yeah, so actually it was funny because Tag and Kennington and I were battling there the last 4 or 5 laps at the end in trucks, and I didn't even know what I was doing. But anyways, a bunch of Pinty's guys are racing around in trucks for 13th, 14th, and 15th. So anyways, it was good, and all of our trucks come home clean.
Yeah.
Which when you get up to that level, that's almost as important as a top 10. So especially for some of those teams that are short on funds, but it was a good experience. I mean, it was eye opening. I sat in the truck that day, and you're just like, yeah, here's your truck. It's got your name on it. It's got your sponsors on it, and this is it. Strap in and let's see what you got. So that was kind of cool. And then we did trucks at Phoenix as well.
Yep.
Right.
Kubota was on board. Kubota Canada and Kubota US were we're in conjunction on both that. So that's,
Nice.
I believe it's the only time they've actually done a marketing partnership in conjunction with Canada and US. So that was kind of neat on the company side.
Yeah.
And same deal. Never been to Phoenix on the track, never raced there. Talked to Kennington a little bit about that. He's ran Cup cars and K&N cars, and I was on his crew one time in a K&N car, K&N race there. So, but again, I sat and, I went there Thursday night, walked around the racetrack, and was lucky enough to meet a security guard, the head of security, and gave me a ride around in a security truck. Gave me 2 laps around there and cell phone video, and that was about all the sim work or that's about all I had. So, but met the team Friday morning, got in the truck and jumped out to practice. So my wife was nervous. She asked me, it was 5 a.m. when we got up. She asked me, she goes, are you nervous? You sure you want to do this? And well, it's too late to back out now. I'm sure things on the truck. So it's we'll get there and see how we make out. So I think we ended
You
up
ran pretty well in that one too.
I think we ended up 11th, I think it was.
Yeah, like good
11th,
result.
I think it was. Yeah, 11th, and it was clean truck at the end. And and I think Kennington, he was in the Cup car that weekend. I think he ended up 25th or 6th, I think it was. And it was the best Premium Motorsports. It was their best finish in truck and Cup in one weekend ever.
Nice.
So,
Leave it to the Canadian boys.
Exactly, just a couple cowboys driving down Phoenix. But yeah, no, it's good. It was really fun. So hopefully we can do it again once we get back to regular life and the trucks are back at CTMP. So
yeah, they released it on the schedule like it's going to be there and normal and everything, and hope that all this well, like we saw with Daytona releasing their statement about the 500, that maybe this sort of trickle down effect will happen in Canada. I mean, the border crossing is a whole other issue, but like maybe we'll actually be able to, or a few of us come to the tracks this year. That's, at least I'm optimistic for that anyway. Yeah, I mean, whether we have another fan cave challenge or a regular season, it'd be good if it was a little more normal, right?
Yeah. No, I think we will. I mean, we're going to have to, our season doesn't start till usually May long weekend. Maybe we push that back to June. I don't know. The schedule's coming out. I heard a rumor the schedule's coming out on December 5th, 6th, 7th-ish, something like that. So shortly, let's just say that.
Yeah.
I don't want to start any rumors, but
Yeah.
so we should know as far as our schedule goes. But again, that could change with the whole pandemic and whatever's going to happen there. So it'd be nice to get some fans back in, even at a limited capacity.
Yeah.
A couple thousand is better than none. So it's not very exciting winning races when nobody's in. The only person cheering in the stands is your spotter.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely know 2 fans as part of Fanside who would definitely we're volunteering. We will go out and be there for sure. We made kind of a premiere attempt to race at Flamborough this year. Unfortunately, again, no fans. Flamborough, Sunset back on the speedway, Jukasa. Let's talk about those 3 tracks first off. Let's talk about Flamborough. Is it a track you want to see back on the schedule after this year, or are we one and done for you?
Yeah, no, bring it back. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. It's I'm kind of, I don't even know how many NASCAR races I've ran, but just get it on the schedule. Tell us what time we need to be there, and we'll be there. So I think it went well. I mean, I had people telling me there's going to be a wreck fest and on and on. I don't think we even wrecked any cars. A couple that had some DNFs that broke, that broke mechanically, but I don't think anybody wrecked. And there's lots of racing room there if you've got the respect from your competitors. It was a good good little show. So. You get some qualifying, and maybe we get some qualifying in there. Maybe, mix up kind of the starting field. Maybe it might be a little better show than me running away with another win. or La Croix. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
The Orange Express is at full
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then what about Sunset returning to the schedule? It'd been a couple years since we'd been there.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you say Sunset?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunset. Yeah. It's again another little racetrack that's, honestly, it's close for all the teams, except for La Croix and Dumoulin, and a couple of teams from Montreal. But relatively, most of the teams are based in Ontario, so it's close. It's a racy little racetrack. It's got 2 grooves. It's action packed. I mean, there's nowhere to hide there. Bring that back on the schedule, which I believe it will be for sure. Bring that one back again, and let's get after it. So
we've talked about the 2, obviously Jukasa being the crown jewel, but it's another track right near Jukasa that Graydon and we're gonna bring up with every guest because we were so bummed.
We got to bring up dirt.
We have to talk about. I'm gonna say it right this time, Graydon. Oshwaken? Did I say it wrong? Still, I think I did.
Get Joel on the phone.
Oshwegan.
See, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, Oshwegan.
We got to talk about what's it going to be like to run on the dirt. Jason, you excited about that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at the beginning because Riverside wasn't on the schedule, so I felt like it replaced it. But we can save that for another hour-long episode later on. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. It's it's going to be I heard there was up to 24 cars that were planning on going.
Oh wow!
Just with early car counts. So I mean, I had 2 sprint car guys in New York, call me for programs to put together for dirt. So
awesome.
So I think it'll be a good event. I think it'll be well attended by car count and fans. They're putting up a big purse. So yeah, let's do it. It's I mean, what could go wrong, right? So
I mean, nothing shovels dirt better than a Kubota.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No doubt. So it's it's good, and they've always put on great events there. Big time sprint car races and big time dirt shows, and usually have NASCAR drivers come up, or sprint car drivers. But it'll be a lot of fun, something different. I mean, this week we're working on Brett Taylor's dirt car at our shop. So
Nice.
So I hope it's on the schedule because we're starting to work on it. So, but should be good. I mean, if it goes over well, I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't do another. Have 2 dirt shows in one season, and guys that are building strictly dirt cars for one event, they can justify it for 2 events. So and there's a lot of different strategies with some of the teams and what they were bringing for dirt cars, and some guys were bringing just their regular oval car, and some guys they had a spare car, some guys had an old car. It's just kind of whatever's in the budget.
Remember when the first truck race at Eldora, like Bloomquist was there, and they had like the crazy travel in the suspension and everything, and it was just garbage. But then I was that was kind of the part that fascinated me about going into it this year, was just like, what is everybody going to do? Everybody's going to kind of have their own ideas. I wasn't expecting like the Pinty's cars to be like bucking and jumping around like that or anything, but it's kind of interpretive, right? Like you don't really know what to do because these cars aren't really like any other NASCAR car to take notes from.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a crapshoot for setup and the way the cars are. So
that's kind of the fun of it a little bit, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got a pretty good record on racetracks that we go to for the first time. So I've got two dirt races.
And the last time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hope I don't close this one. I ran South Buxton in a dirt late model. I don't know what year that'd be. 2010, I guess, maybe 11. And I ran Granby in Montreal with Dexter in a center seat dirt car, which was kind of wild. We were right from Montreal, the road course, and he said, "Come run my dirt car." I'm like, "All right." So I showed up to Granby, never been there in my life, and it was a fast place. It was a little bit scary, truthfully. And anyways, we ended up coming out of there unscathed, and I don't know where we ended up. I think we ended up like 15th or something, like 25. But and headed back to Montreal and ran the road course the next day. So it was it was fun. So who knows? Maybe Dexter and I, maybe we can do that again. Getting a little bit of dirt experience for this year if it's back on the schedule.
I mean, we already do street circuits, we do permanent road courses, we do dirt, we do wet, all sorts of weather. I mean, when's the snow or the ice racing going to start for the NASCAR Pinty series? I mean, we know some guys have done their racing on ice before, so I mean, It's Canada, so we could do it.
Yeah. I want to get a test with somebody. That's my wheelhouse. I'll probably stuff it into a snowbank.
Yeah, ice racing is where I draw the line.
Oh,
I'm a snowmobiler, and I barely have time for that.
We've had several tracks that you had mentioned have been closed down. For me, there's some tracks that aren't on the schedule that I would love to see come back. Some that have unfortunately been demolished. But there's always the possibility. Let's just give you a magic wish, and there's a track that is no longer with us that you are able to bring back. Which one would it be for you?
Riverside Speedway. I'd sign up tomorall. And,
I think this is the common answer amongst everybody we've asked so far. So
I knew that'd be his answer.
I'll even help get it. I'll even help organize it. So let's listen to the racers and listen to the fans, and let's get it back on the schedule.
Yes, and we got to get guys like Cole Butcher in that race. I mean, the track itself is just I miss it, and it wasn't even on the schedule for years and years and years. But the track itself, beautiful. If we could just get that car count up a little bit, you guys put on amazing shows there. What's the actual track experience like?
It's the nothing against Jukasa. Jukasa is a different animal compared to Riverside, but it is the best racetrack in Canada for asphalt racers. So Jukasa's it's nice, but and fast. Mm-hmm. But as a short track guy, Riverside's where it's at. But car count, we'll get the car count up. You get it back on the schedule, and I'll do my damnedest to get the car count up. So in the perfect world, if you can get 2 races out east, maybe a Scotia, on a Thursday and Riverside on a Saturday, then you'll have some more interest from guys out in the east. So but I don't know. I'm just the spokesperson for tonight. So we'll leave that for another boardroom meeting.
You spoke of it a little bit, and it's something that we always touch on in every episode. Like a lot of your guys have been with you for quite a few years now, and it's the secret to any successful business, never mind a race team. Just talk a bit about your guys that come and help you on those shop nights and during race season, Jason.
Yeah, no, it's all about the guys in the shop, and anybody will tell you that most races are won from the preparation side. So, yeah, a lot of my guys have been with me forever. So my crew chief, Craig Masters, Grunt Masters, nobody knows him by Craig, but Grunt Masters, he's been with me since 1998. So racing street stocks at Delaware, and I think I'd have to ask him, but I think he's missed 3 races in my whole career since 1998, maybe 4.
Wow.
Maybe 4. So so we've spent a lot of time together. But in the shop, the full-time guys in the shop, like Gary Mead, he's an old racer to himself. He ran late models and stuff up in Barrie Speedway and all around. So Jeff Thomas, he's my car chief. He's he's at our shop couple days a week and on the weekends, and he's actually in charge of all setups for all the cars. So watch now, somebody's going to headhunt him on.
Yeah.
You just see it now. His email is going to light up with headhunters and race teams. So, he's not for rent, but yeah, Donnie Brock's been around forever too. He's raced forever. Donnie's been he's up Beaver Dragon back in the day, and Peter Gibbons, and he's been all through the whole late model program back in the 88 old ACT series. So in Rich Hishner, he's up in Havelock. He's been a guy that's been with EHR since 2003, I think it was. So I mean, these guys are family. You know what I mean? They're not crew members at all. But Dwayne Sutherland's a guy that comes from Timmins, Ontario. When we're racing him in regular events, he comes down with the family and so on. So Ben Carswell's a young kid that started 2-3 years ago. He showed up. He's going for a mechanic license. He works at Audi dealership, and we said,
Nice.
"Hey Benny, you're the tire guy," and he didn't know race tires from nothing. So we threw at him. We had Hoosiers on the late model out at Riverside at the IWK. We had American Racers in the APC series at the Short Track Nationals. We won it. And then he had Goodyears back on the NASCAR cars that year. So we had 3 different brands of tires thrown at him, and he didn't know shit, as they say.
Busy boy.
Exactly. So he learned quick. But Phil Arnold's another guy. Our truck driver Phil Arnold's been with me since 2010, and he's another guy that raced around Ontario with Bakers and a couple guys around there. So Peter Gibbons, he did some racing with them too. So and it's just a lot of guys that my dad come up this summer to help out. He was working in the shop there a couple days a week there and cleaning cars and doing whatever he can do. So it's always good to get a 15-hour day in 7 hours out of dad in the race shop.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You gotta get your money out of dad. So
yeah.
But, so anyways, it's all people that have been with us for a long time, and my wife does most of the heavy lifting around our race team and around the house, and keeping all of us in tune on how we should do it, and where we need to be, and what we need to wear. So she's in charge of all that, the marketing side as well. So better not forget her, or I'll be sleeping outside tonight.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope, I guess, too. Yeah, when the boss is at home too.
Yeah.
You've had some loyal partners that have been a part of the number 3, obviously the Fast Eddie, Chaco, but you've also had, like we said, Kubota, Totals come on board. You've also had Kugel, am I saying that right? Kugel,
Yep.
Kugel Bearings, all part of the number 3 team. There was a period though where there was a lot of emptiness on the 3, and it seems like you guys you fought that battle. You had some partners still, obviously. The car was never completely blank, but you fought through that, and now you've got a car that's completely covered. It's got the orange on it, and you guys actually rebranded the name when Kubota came aboard. What was part of that decision from T3 Red to Team 3 Orange? Because I think that's a fantastic move, similar to what we used to see way back in the day, where the naming rights were changed with teams once the sponsors came aboard.
Yeah, no, it was something that came up in a marketing meeting with Kubota and their agency that they work with, Underdog. We were all in the boardroom there, and Ed Hawkinson, our owner, came up with it, as he does with all the good ideas. He came up with it to rebrand it for Team 3 Orange. So it's and rightfully so, with them being on board for their 4th year with us and making a commitment, stepping up. So it only made sense from our side. So and Chaco on the family business side, we have the license for North America for Kubota as well on the business side. So it was a real fit on all aspects. So Kugel Bearing, they're out of Transit Warehouse is actually the company, and they're up in Levique, Quebec City area. But Kugel Bearing is one of their brands that they wanted to promote throughout Canada. So we hooked up with the folks up in Transit. Fast Eddie, of course, we all know who Fast Eddie is in Canada. If you're in any type of motorsports in Canada, you know who Fast Eddie is. So they've Choco and Fast Eddie filled the gaps while we were looking for sponsorship, and it's not an easy sell when you're going up against the Blue Jays in the summer with 162 games and full television and 5 hours of television plus radio. And then you're also fighting against hockey that starts mid-August now with training camps and everything else, and goes right till June. So they're kind of in competing on our schedule as racers. So not to mention all the other racing series and golf and everything else that's going on in the world. So it's not an easy sell, and you really need to find the right partner and the right people in the marketing side of things that can really put to sell a program inside headquarters to be able to promote the brand out in the marketplace with fans and obviously television as well. So just take Pinty's for example. There isn't anybody in Canada that doesn't buy Pinty's chicken. I mean, it's all you ever hear on television is Pinty's. It doesn't matter if you're on TSN Sportsnet or Fan 590 or 680 News, whatever you're hearing Pinty's. So it's they do a great job. Tony Spiteri and everybody at Pinty's, obviously supporting the race series and letting us have fun. And as much as he says that we're his heroes because we race. I mean, he's our hero for supporting the sport as much as he does in all aspects, not just NASCAR, dirt track and Schwingen and Merrittville and whatever else he's into. So, title sponsor of other races. So it's a passion. So if you're passionate about something and you want to make a go of it, you want to be successful, then you got to put in the effort. So that goes for finding sponsors and keeping them happy. And and it's not all about winning, and it's not all about results. It's you got to do your part off the track as well. So just take Tagliani, Alex Tagliani. He's probably the best that does a great job for his sponsors, and he never quits selling himself. So or his partners. So anybody in racing that wants to have a lesson on how to sell sponsorship or what to do and how much effort goes in, just follow Alex Tagliani in whatever social platform he's on. So, so that's my pitch on the dark side of trying to find sponsorship and the bright side of landing a sponsor. So, I mean, if I was to go out tomorrow and look for a major sponsor, I don't think I'd have enough time to do it. So I'm hoping we put enough orange Kubota logos on the television screen and across all the social media platforms to keep everyone happy at headquarters. So I hope we did our part. So,
well, you segued into it, explained it perfectly. I was going to talk about how like the business side of it, like you said, the competition of other sports that happen in Canada and a relatively small racing season, and which kind of brings me into like the business that you guys have, all the iPad's falling down, like Fast Eddie and Choco and everything, and like you said, how Kubota fits into that. It's really a really great business model for a Canadian racing team to have like the apparel and kind of help make all the merchandise and everything too for it. Like I have a serious Fast Eddie addiction problem now. I have a lot of those graphic T-shirts are awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the B2B side of things too, and I think if a lot of the race teams, I think they look at that. They try to work with that. They try to look at that side. So
that's a big thing nowadays, right? The business to business stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's take a look at Penske. Take a look at Penske sponsors. You don't think that he doesn't fill up his rental cars or his trucks at Shell, you
Yeah.
know? So
Mhm.
you don't think that Snap-on doesn't outfit all of his dealerships?
Pennzoil
So
in every crankcase of every motor he's
exactly.
got. And yeah.
So that's how it goes. But I mean, it's you need some of that B2B stuff, and you need to make it work business, on the business side, and it needs to make sense financially. So
Mhm.
this isn't a cheap sport. I know quite a few of the curlers. We've done some events with the curling guys, and with Pinty's being involved, and Kubota too. I always tell those guys, I say, we show up at the racetrack with, $500,000 worth of equipment, and you guys show up with a pair of shoes and a broom, and think you're God. So we had a good laugh about that one. Ben Hebert and some of the guys on Kevin Coley's team, we were together at an event one time. But anyways, it's a big commitment financially for teams, and if you don't have the backing, to get started, which we do with my owner Ed Atkinson, to have a business, to kind of roll it through the winter months. You won't make a go of it. So, and we've got
You
a
got to be
couple new
savvy.
teams. You have to be, and you can't just go out and buy the new and the best of everything, just because you think you're going to go fast, because you may run out of money before the season starts. So, Kevin Lacroix, they own, they own, I think five, I think it is, bumper to bumper stores through Uniselect. So it makes business sense for them, with B2B, with their sponsorship. So, and that it just pays off for their side, and they do a good job on that side as well. I mean, it's just, if you look through the field and kind of know the backstory of some of the teams and some of the sponsors and the ownership, you kind of put the lay of the land together and see how it fits.
It's the reality of the economy too. We talked about that with Scott. Like, there isn't all the little tiny companies that used to be able to put their name on a car when NASCAR came to town or whatever. And the way the world is, like, the big conglomerates in a global economy are buying up the little stuff. There just aren't as many companies to fund the cars. So having a good like a marketing strategy and a good business model like you guys have, it's the name of the game, like you said, or you'll run out of money pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not an easy deal, and it goes right down to the grassroots side too. And I tell anybody on the grassroots side, look to your family, friends first that own businesses, because that's most likely what you're going to land for sponsorship. And don't try to go to corporate world, because corporate world's, it's tough to sell at our level, let alone down to the grassroots stuff. So television for our series is number one with TSN. It's what drives our series and drives our sponsorship. Our TV numbers were up this year, and not just single viewing. It's up over the full show, 60-minute show. So, which was great. So there's over 60 shows between replay and the races, and then on MAP TV, and then as well also on the year in review show that's coming up by, I think, next week. Joel.
Yeah.
So, again, Joel does a great job on his side too during the week, and sending out clips on his social media and NASCAR Pinty Series social media platforms as well. Just little clips here or there every week. You'll see a couple different ones and whatever. So that's always needed too, because it's a long winter, and we don't want to be forgotten. And it's easy to do in a hockey world, which hockey right now has not started, so everything's kind of quiet. But it's there's a lot of businesses that are doing really well in the pandemic. It's not it's not everybody's shutting their doors. I mean, there's lots of companies that are very profitable. So Canadian Tire was a title sponsor in the series, for 10 years. They don't have any involvement right now. I mean, they went big time into the track side at CTMP, but on the car side or the series side, they sponsored one of the races. I think it was at Flamborough. I think it was one of the races they sponsored. So that was cool to get them back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Motormaster, I think, was the other one that was on there. Yeah.
Did I win that one?
I think so.
I think you did. Yeah, maybe.
It's kind of hard to find a race you didn't win.
Yeah.
So Well, that's positive. So yeah. So anyways, I got a story I'll share with you off screen about that. But anyways,
Well, it's that's why we're here essentially, Jason, is we want this season, we want the series never to be over. There's no off season for us, and whether it's drumming up interest by having a show like this, putting together fictional race schemes with corporate sponsorship, it's just, I think there's not enough eyes, and once they see it, they like it.
Oh, yeah.
And the racing itself is just phenomenal. The guys are and gals are fantastic, and again, we've gone through a little bit of a lull in terms of car count, but all of racing has done that. The fact that it's expanding while some other, I guess, series are being questioned on how really interesting it is. There's no debating that it looks like so much fun to drive these cars. They're sliding all over the place. There's no such thing as the packages that they need to have. Just so many friggin' debates about that in the Cup Series, and it gets nauseating. I have to ask, the cars, are they literally as fun to drive as they look, or are they just all over the place in a handful?
Yeah, no, they're a handful. There's nothing easy about driving these cars. I've had a late model and drove lots of late models in my career, but those things are low to the ground. They don't roll over. They got less horsepower. They're easy to drive, really. These things they're a handful, especially on the road courses. So they have no brakes. Number one, they got terrible shocks. Number two, they roll over like a wagon.
Yeah.
But the talent on the road courses in our series is phenomenal. I mean, the year that I sat out of the car and tried to retire and watched the road courses, I remember being on the box at Trois-Rivières and watching Tagliani and Marc Antoine side by side for a lap and a half at Trois-Rivières. I was like, just, I was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I was glad I was out to watch it, and Scott Steckley walked by the back of our box and I was sitting up top. So I called him up and I said, "So how nervous are you?" He goes, "I'm going to the washroom." He goes, "I can't watch." So we both had a good laugh on that one. But I mean, these guys are good. I mean, they're just plain out good. So they're unique. The cars are unique. So it doesn't matter what, as long as the rules are the same, which I would say our rules are by far par. Like, the rules are par. Like, they're even. These cars are even between motors and shocks. I mean, you can't do anything with the shocks. I mean, the shocks are what they are. They're you find your best left front shock, and you hopefully you have it for 10 years, because they don't make any better ones. And motors are motors. I mean, I've got 7 motors and they're all within like 4 or 5 horsepower. So you're not getting beat on motors. You're not getting beat on shocks. Brakes are the brakes. I mean, you're not getting beat on any of that stuff either. All the guys have, the best gears, the best transmissions. I mean, I watch them when they take them out in tech. They're all laying on the ground. You can see what Kennington's got, or what Tagliani's got, or what Donald Theege has, and Dave White put a new team together. So I can see what they have, and they can see what I have. And most of us grew up together, so we kind of stretch the truth a little bit with each other, but deep down we all know.
You can only stretch it so far, right?
Exactly. Fitzpatrick too. I mean, Fitzpatrick, he was helping me road race back when he was the king of road racing, and I was just trying to figure out what I was doing. And behind the scenes from his team, he was helping me, and we were friends. So it's just, there's no real secret to it, or you're not getting beat by equipment. My oval car is the oldest car probably, and then that runs up front. I mean, my car is a 2011. It's the oldest car, but it's a good car. It's Kennington's car, true. And it was.
That's that one, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a car. It was his car that he ran up front. It's just a good car. I mean, it's. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the car is better than the driver. But anyways, it's
but it does make the driver count for something, though, right? Like you say, when they're all painted basically with the same brush, it kind of shows who's good at what.
Yeah, for sure. And it all comes down to, I don't get too excited in practice. I mean, my guys will tell you, my spotter Jeff Gutler will tell you, practice really doesn't matter. And I've taught him that, by the way. And I forgot him in the crew site. So I better give a shout out to Jeff Cutler. He's one of the best spotters, and actually is the best spotter in Canada. So, he's like, oh yeah, we're sixth in practice or whatever. I said, yeah, it's okay. Car's looking good. What do you need? I said, nothing. I don't need anything. You know what I mean? So sure enough, lap 40, we're picking them off, and lap 70, we're in the lead, and lap 300, we're winning. So, so it's all about rhythm, and it's about longevity and setups, and I think it's just my style. I'm not as aggressive as the other guys. Donald Teach, he's aggressive. He's an animal. Very good race car driver, and you'll see at racetracks where he's quicker than most, and just either burns up the tires or burns up the brakes or does whatever. And I think it's just kind of his approach. Kevin Lacroix is real good, real aggressive, really good on road courses. And, I think it's just the way the approach is. And I think it's almost a little bit in the demeanor of the person too, if you look real deep into it. But that's my secret.
It makes sense.
So, yeah, well, it's funny because we can, we'll talk about at the end what we've learned today from Jason Hathaway, his educational lessons. From what I understand is we're going to have the orange car up front way more often next year because the ratings were so good this year. Clearly people like orange. We're also going to need to have and I don't know about you, Graydon, but a Pinty series drivers against the curlers in a curling match. I think that's gold right there. I think
I can arrange that.
I think we got a couple of those Penny's guys on there. We put on TSN. I think it'd be pretty fun. And then of course we do a reverse. Then you guys have to, the curlers got to race you guys and
put them in a car.
Put them in a car and see how hurry and hard they can go. Right?
We can arrange that. I think I'm one text message away from putting Gord Bamford and Brad Gushu in a car. So
there we go.
There we go. Say, is Bamford still doing stuff with Kubota? Because that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
nice.
For sure it is. Yeah, no, he's a great partner for them as well, and he's actually he's a property that they sponsor, and have relationships with. He was able to have some concerts outdoor. He was thinking outside the box and had some concerts at parking lots and some driving stuff. So, his team they were thinking outside the box too in this whole pandemic this summer. So, he's a real good property for Kubota.
Get the Kubota rolling through the city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, our time is almost up for dealing with the interviewing and chatting with 2020 Fan Cave Pinty Series champion, Jason Hathaway, Captain Kubota, as somebody on the internet proclaimed him. And I'm very sorry if that was if they were not a fan, but I'm just waiting for somebody to do up an image with you and like the Kubota flag or something like that coming behind you. I'm not that type. I can do cars. I can't do that type of stuff. But we always like to end the show, Jason, with an opportunity for you to thank your sponsors because they're the ones that got you to the track. They're the ones that helped put on this amazing product that we got to see this year. So you have a couple of minutes to just to shout them out.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Kubota #1, Kubota Canada. They've been with us for 4 years, and I've always watched us along the way in doing this crazy racing thing that we've done for so many years. But definitely them, Choco for sure, and everybody company wide at Choco. They when I go in the office, everybody's always asking how we did or what happened and so on. So it's just not the company name. It goes deeper than that to everyone involved there. There's about 45 people at the office there that in the company. So Fast Eddie as well. They're a big supporter of ours. And like I said earlier, if you're in the motorsports, you know who they are. Kugel Bearing Transit Warehouse. They've been with us this year, actually last year, 2 years. They've been with us 2 years. So friends of mine. So that's how that deal come about in the automotive industry. So it's good to be able to reward them with a championship on their second year. So That's who we got this year. This year, and then last year was pretty much the same as well. So Wix Filters was on last year. And then just shouting back even further, that was Snap-on Tools was with us for 8 years, which was, that's pretty big sponsorship. I mean, it's for 8 years having Snap-on Tools in Canada is pretty special. So Rockstar was a big partner of ours. Total Lubricants was on board this year, the championship year. So that was cool. Premier Truck and Transportation up in Stouffville, they were with us there last year. HGC out of Caledon's, another partner, was with us for a couple of years. So I don't know, man. It's a long list that has been with us with EHR. I have to make a list and go through everybody. That'd be fun.
I think the only ones that I can think of that
you probably know more than I do.
Still miss. I think Super 8 was on your three way back.
Yeah, Super 8 was 4 or 5 years.
Arctic Cat they were there too. Geez, what's the last one? Raybestos.
Bestis was they were with us. So they were with us for 2 years. They were with us. So.
Vortex brake pads. I remember that one.
That's
very clearly.
I couldn't think of the other brake pad. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, no, Vortex. Yeah, that's a brand that's still out there in the automotive industry. Yeah, so they were friends of ours that had a manufacturing facility out in Mississauga. So shout out to Brian Watts and Robert Lee from Vortex. So yeah, that's cool.
And we definitely welcome any of them back. EHR, the team. You guys have, like you said, you had 4 cars last year. I'm not sure. You guys probably still figuring out your plans for 2021. But teams always love sponsorship. So if you're out there, give these guys a call. Same with any of our other, guests that have been on the show. But one of the things that I've always loved was the 3 car. As soon as I started CASCAR, it was the first car that, and you know what it was really, Jason, I'm probably sure you hear this all the time. It's the 3 with the maple leaf. There was just something about it that as soon as
I saw badass.
It's like Earnhardt but Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. That's Ed Hackinson, my owner. That's his creativity. That's his mind. It never stops thinking. So
with the double 33 too, you got Brett with the double maple leafs too. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, the way all the cars were tied together this year looked cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, the 33 worked out well. I don't know, the 33, Brett, I don't know. He went with the number on the quarter panel, though, so he's a bit of an off. We'll have to talk to him about that. So he ran well, too. He had 2 podiums this year, too. Connor James had a podium, so it's, that's 6 races. We had.
That's right. Yeah, I wanted to bring those guys up. They when you're talking about Sportsman Series and Flamborough and stuff, like Connor's got a ton of laps there too. But
yeah, he's got more laps than I do.
There we go.
This guy didn't go to bed. He was supposed to.
Man, growing fast, eh?
Yeah. He's a wild one now, standing on chairs.
Is he mobile?
Turning off cameras and everything.
Turned off the camera. I know he's standing on chairs and tables. He's living
there's
life.
Big Brother too.
Yeah, there's Hudson.
future drivers of the number 3, right?
Yeah, team photo.
Yeah. Hudson, we did a little testing with Hudson this year in his go-kart. So
right on. Right.
Was that fun?
Fun?
Yeah. How much time I spent it?
Oh, you spun it a lot.
Part of learning.
Yeah, exactly.
For fast, weird go-kart.
Fastest.
Awesome, man.
So,
super cool.
Yeah, Rocco, Anthony Simone's son, Rocco. He's a real racer, that guy. So it's he was at the track, so he was helping Hudson a little bit there the one day. So that was cool. So
it's got to be remarkable, Jason, that you guys now you've got the laps of it. You got Trayton coming up. You had Caden come up. Now it looks like maybe Larry Jackson's daughter Paris is going to come up and race too. So it seems like a matter of time. We know DJ's Chase is starting to race too. So Anthony Simone. So I mean, the Pinty Series seems pretty full for the coming years.
The pipeline's
Yeah.
alive and well.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't even need no drivers. You guys just keep adding them.
That's the feeder series. The feeder series that I'll fill this year. We got a big gap to fill there. We got a 10-year gap to fill.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, we want to thank you so much for coming aboard Fanside. We're huge supporters of team. Well, as you can tell, right? Huge supporters of Kubota in the series, Team 3, Orange, Ed Hackinson, yourself. We wish you nothing but more success in 2021. We hope to see all of your drivers back at the track this year. And we wish you nothing but the best. So thank you for coming on.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on and making the show possible for all of us.
Yeah,
Not a
thanks
problem.
a lot
It's
for
a lot
my
of fun.
boys and myself too. Take care, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All righty. That was Jason Hathaway on Fanside, presented by Remax Jack.